Last week, Sarah Pochin humiliated herself on national TV with a racist remark. Since then, she seems to have vanished. No interviews, no chamber appearance, there's nothing. This week, something unexpected happened. At Prime Minister's questions, David Lammy, yes, the deputy leader himself, called her out directly. But here's the twist. Nigel Farage, who was supposed to be on a self-imposed PMQ strike, was in fact sitting in the chamber. And when David Lammy called this out, it looks very much like he agrees with him. Does he actually think that she's crossed the line? There's a rare moment of honesty in Westminster. Lammy reminded the House that Reform once bragged about Kent County Council being the showcase of good government. Instead, it's chaos and scandal. Then he cut to the point. Disgraceful, racist language we heard from the Reform MP last week belongs in the Dark Ages. Cut to Reform, and Farage is there, nodding. And he even looks like he says, yep, as if he agrees. Very strange, unless he didn't realise the cameras are actually on him, because he spent the last week defending her as a good person who just misspoke.
In his seat. Reform said, this may be the first time I've seen him in Prime Minister's, but Mr. Speaker, Reform said that Kent County Council would be the best advert for what a Reform government would look like. They're delivering on the chaos that they promised and on standards in public life. I say to the honourable gentleman, no, Mr. Speaker, this is serious. I used to replace the honourable gentleman on LBC, so we've known each other for many years. The disgraceful, racist language that we heard from a Reform MP last week belongs in the Dark Ages. And
Even Flynn!
But that wasn't his only mention in PMQs. And just when you think it can't get any more absurd, the session turns to money. Labour MP asked why Reform wants to cut the minimum wage when their own leader is pocketing gold billion profits. That's pretty much gold bars, isn't it, really? Farage earns more from interviews, gold and investments than any young worker could make in a decade. Yet he's still out here saying £10 an hour is way too much. I mean, Farage is sitting on a portfolio that could fund an entire apprenticeship scheme.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Since this government has massively boosted the national minimum wage for young people, my constituents in Erewash earn far more than the £3.40 an hour I got paid in my first job just 17 years ago. What is the Deputy Prime Minister's response then to those, including the Conservatives and Reform, who claim that £10 an hour is too high a wage for young workers? And does he happen to know whether any of the Reform leaders' dozen extra jobs pay him less than £10 an hour?
Well, I was looking at the honourable member for Clacton's member's interests, and he's making quite a lot out of gold bullion. You've got to ask, why does he want to cut the minimum wage for people who are not making even 1% of what he is? The Labour Party's on the side of young people, boosting their wages and delivering the youth guarantee to help everyone realise their potential. And I hope young people recognise what the two other parties want on their record.
So let's just recap. Sarah Pochin disappears after a racist comment. Her party leader finally pretends to disapprove and minutes later gets roasted for earning more than a month than his own voters will see in a year, whilst claiming the minimum wage is way too high. Reform's slogan might as well be work harder for less while we cash in. And if you want to see Richard Tice get twiddled up on his own lies that he completely forgot about or thought he could get away with, well, you need to watch the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.